Hi friends, it's Diana here today and welcome to my channel. Welcome to part 3 of my little mini series where I go through all the different stitches on my Babylock Accolade. I show you how to thread them and I show you what they do. Today we're working on the safety stitch. This stitch is so good for when you're sewing woven fabrics. The really cool thing about this stitch is that it does a chain stitch, which is kind of like your straight stitch, and then it finishes off the raw edge. So you kill two birds with one stone. On this series, we already have talked about the serging stitch and the cover stitch, which are two amazing stitches. But this one saves you a lot of time, like I said, if you're working with those woven. Let me show you how to thread my machine and let me show you how that stitch works. Now, if you want to know more about those other stitches, make sure you check out my other videos that I have here on my channel. Also, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of the other stitches that this machine offers. There's quite a bit. Let's get started. All right, I'm super excited about this. I actually am about to sew up a woven top, so I need this stitch anyway, so this is the perfect time for me to show you how to do it. So this is the chain stitch right here. I love that this machine comes with a cheat sheet guide that tells you all the different stitches and it gives you information on how to thread them. It makes it so easy. So first of all, this right here is the chain stitch with a 4-thread overlock. So there's just a plain chain stitch, which is this little stitch you see right here. It looks like a straight stitch, but it's a chain stitch right there. So you could really use that for many projects. But today we're going to do the one that has the straight chain stitch and then is going to have an overlock at the back. You see that? The reason why I like that is because it finishes off the raw edge, and then you do not have to do a finish off when you're sewing with woven, because they usually the woven usually frays. Okay, the difference between the 6-thread, 5-thread, and 4-thread safety stitch, you on the 6th thread you have you have 3 different stitches, needle stitches. So when you're threading, you're going to be threading 3 different threads here. And you're going to have an extra cone here because you're going to go in through all the loopers, upper looper and lower looper. On the 5-stitch thread, you're only having 2 needles that you're using. And so it's still a secure stitch, but you know, it's a little bit less. On the 4-way, you're only going to be using you're also going to be using 2 needles, but then you're only going to be using 1 looper and the chain stitch. So you're only going to do 1 looper. So that gives me a different kind of, a different kind of serging edge. So it just depends on how, the chain stitch is the same, but it just depends on how tight or how worried you are about that finishing stitch at the edge of your fabric. For what I'm doing, for what I'm serging, I think just a simple 4th thread would be just fine. You see how my finish, this would be the safety stitch here, the overlock stitch is a little bit not as complicated as here. Like here you have the thread going through, this one you don't. It's still not gonna fall off, it's just not as thick. And then this one's like really reinforced. I probably would use this for more like something that really frays, like jeans or something like that. You want a very sturdy stitch. That would be a good one. So anyway, we're going with the 4 just because it's easy. But again, really, there's not a whole lot of change. The only thing is you would also put another spool of thread here and you would go through that looper hole. So we're doing the same thing. And then you would have a couple other, you would have another spool here for the 6th thread, and it would go through over here where your needle goes, the 2nd spot of your needle. So it's the same steps, you would just be adding a couple more threads. So it's the same thing. Okay, and I said all that to tell you that I'm showing you so you're not like confused. Oh, you didn't show me that part. Okay, what you need is probably some slips and your handy dandy little tweezer. And we're going to start by opening the cover. So open that big one, slide it over, open this right here. And here's our system. We got to switch it to threading. The first thing I'm going to do is lift up my foot, make sure my foot is up in the back, and cut my threads that I already have on here. I'm going to need another spool because I have it threaded for just 3 spools. And then I'm going to pull my thread out. So the old thread is out of the way. I'm going to use black for the chain stitch. Okay, so now what I gotta do is I'm gonna go ahead and once that's done, I'm gonna spin my wheel until these tubes here close. That's what's gonna do my air threading. Spin it forward, and there we go. Now it's ready. I'm gonna go right here in this little compartment and get my handy dandy little tools that I need. I like to keep them there so I never lose them and I have them handy. I always like to grab my little brush and brush off any fabric or any lint or anything that has built up. This is a great time to clean up that machine a little bit. You can open this side and clean up a little bit on the side. Make sure that you don't have a whole bunch of junk just getting stuck in there, and then your machine is not gonna work as well. Your machine works the best when it's nice and clean. If you have a little vacuum and you vacuum it all up, that is the best. Okay, first we're gonna start with your needles. So for this stitch, you just need C3 and O1. For this one, you need C3, O1, and O2. So whatever needle numbers you need, that's how many needles you're gonna be moving. So for these two, we're just gonna move C3 and O1. Right here shows you, this is the C section, C, 1, 2, 3, and this is the O section back here, 1, 2. Right now, I'm only using C in the front because I was doing a cover stitch. That's what I had it set on. So I'm gonna move one of these to the back. So I've got 3, I've gotta move it to 3, because actually it's on number 1 and 2. So I gotta move 1 to 3, and 1 over here to the back to O1. So I'm gonna loosen these screws and pull those needles out. And I'll make sure I tighten those screws again. Don't want to lose them. Always like to tighten them. I'm gonna open up my screws that I need. C3 and O1. Okay, and then I'm gonna start with one of my needles. I like to use my tweezers because my fingers are kind of big. Tighten that up. All right, so we're gonna grab the second needle and we're gonna put it in the O1. All right, so now I can go ahead and put these tools away. Now we wanna make sure we have everything situated. So we've got, everything else should be the same here, here, and here. So we've got length of 3. So make sure my length is on a 3. Okay, and then the width, actually this width right here is a mess up, so don't look at that. It's actually 7.5 is the width. Okay, and then we're gonna go to the stitch selector is gonna be A, so it's already set on A here. The wave selector is overlock, it's already set on overlock. The chain needle tension is gonna be a 4 to 6, and that's on the side, 4 to 6, it's already set on that. There's a little wheel right here. And then the next thing is the chain looper tension is on chain, and that is right here on this side. You can see it right here. I had it on cover, so we're gonna spin it over to chain because I was doing a cover stitch. Okay. The stitch selector, the upper looper selector is up. I had it down because I was again working on chain stitch. Cover stitch. The blade position is up. I had that down as well. So here's where it goes up, and it'll go up when I undo it. Okay. Then the knife cover, which is this, we'll put that on. And then the subsidiary looper. So it's this little thing right here. So we're going to pull up on it. Let's do it with this so you can see it. Pull out. So you're going to pull out to this right and go around to the front, and you'll latch on. So now it's ready. All right, we're going to start threading. We'll start with that chain stitch first. So that's the first cone. We go up to the top. I'm gonna move you over here so you can see how I'm doing it. I come out through this little latch here. There's a little hole right there that you're supposed to go through. So I go through that hole, go behind the little knob here, and going above the knob here into the tension and go in through here. So now that's trapped in that tension wheel right there. I pull a little bit of the thread, and I'm gonna put it here on the C for chain stitch. Okay, and that made my thread go all the way through, and it should be up here where it's supposed to be. We're just gonna trust that it's there. Okay, next is the second one, which is the lower looper. So we're gonna pull the other one. So we go through the top, and then we're gonna go into the farthest one on the right, pull it a little bit to have some thread, and we're gonna put it on that L for the lower looper. Okay, it came all the way out, it spit it out. Okay, so that's ready there. Just gonna pull this thread towards the back. Don't let it get caught on anything like I just did. Next is gonna be my needle. So if you're doing number 6, if you're doing 6 threads, which has got the 2 loopers, then you would put the next looper through this little section here and fit it through here. But I'm not doing that, so I'm skipping that one and going to the needles. So we're gonna go to the first, I'm sorry, not the first, the only, no, I have 2. Okay, we're gonna go to the next needle. And so it's the next thread. We're going in through the second gap. So obviously you would go through the third gap if you had, all the other ones. We're gonna go here through the front. We're gonna go up right here and go in, down right here. And we're gonna go into that first needle, which is the one on the back, the O. Okay, this next one's gonna help you with your chain stitch. So we're gonna come over here to this side so you can really see it. We're gonna grab it from the top as well. We're gonna pull it right through right here. See how these little wheels? But before we do that, back here, bring you over, there are these little things right here, and you wanna loop your thread behind them. And that helps you keep your thread there. It's kind of hard to do it with one hand, but my thread is looped right there, and then it's gonna go right through this little area here, go all the way down, around the back and around this thing here. We're gonna go behind the little holder of the thread. We're gonna go into that front needle there, which is the C for chain. Oh my goodness, I just got that. C for chain, O for overlock. Is that what it is? If that is what it is, that is pretty cool. I never noticed that before. I never thought about it before, but it makes total sense. And that's all we've got to do. Pull it all the way to the back. And we're ready to start stitching. Well, not really. We gotta close all this up. Okay. So now we're gonna switch back to serging. So all the tubes should go back. The blade should come up. See, the blade comes up now. It's ready. We're gonna close this up, and we're gonna try it. Every time I'm like, I should have fabric here ready for this, and I never do. All right, so here's a small piece of fabric. We're gonna fit it right through, right in. Come on. Put my foot down, put my needles down. Oh, that's why my needles were down already. Put my foot down, put my needles down, and go. And here's my chain stitch. Okay, so this is my chain stitch here. So you can see how it's like a little chain. That stitch itself will not change. See how my serged, my overlocked edge is just a barely there stitch. It's just keeping it together so it's not gonna fray out and everything. The more threads you do, the thicker that stitch will be. So it's up to you how thick you want that stitch, but that was super easy. All right, friends, how quick and easy was that? All done, that was it. I'm gonna go ahead and get started sewing my project that I wanted to sew, but I just wanted to show this to you because I think it's so cool. I love this machine. There are so many things you can do with it, and I'm just super excited about it, so I wanted to share it with you. Any questions you have about this, let me know in the comments below. Information about this sewing machine will be in my description box, so if you want to go check it out, you can check it out. And yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss any of my tutorials. There's also a ton of free tutorials in this channel, so make sure you check those out. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you soon.